Hello everyone, it's Lindsay and welcome back to my channel. We are officially halfway through, well, more than halfway through 2022. So I thought it would be the prime time to do a mid-year goal check-in and talk about some of my favorite books so far of this year. Every year at the beginning of the year, I have a list of goals and I usually split them up into writing, reading, and life. And they're obviously something I want to achieve during the year. And then I also separately write down all of the dreams that I would like to accomplish. I make these separate because goals are something you can strive to attain. Dreams are something like the universe just gives to you. But I like to write them down. I make little boxes next to them so I can tick them off and it's like the biggest boost of serotonin ever. Love it. But yeah, I thought we would go over these today. So let's start with writing. I had 8 writing goals that I set for myself at the beginning of the year. And we're just gonna go through them one by one and see where we are. My first one was that I wanted to make an author website. I have not done this. I don't know if this is still a goal for me. The farther I get away from the point when I made this goal, the more I'm like, I don't need a website. I just feel like I don't want to pay to keep a website. I don't want to work to make a website. I don't want to pay someone else to make the website for me. I don't know. I know I need to make one. I just don't want to. My next goal was that I wanted to make a professional email account, and I can gladly say I did this. I had been using before my email that I had had since middle school. And yeah, it had a lot to do with Pirates of the Caribbean and Orlando Bloom, so won't be sharing that email here, but I finally have an official email, which makes me feel, again, very official. My third goal was that I wanted to make an author Goodreads account, and I did that. If you haven't already, you can totally add the Glass Witch to your Goodreads if you want to read it. You know, help me out a little bit. But yeah, I made an author Goodreads account, so you can now search me on Goodreads. I'm there, and the Glass Witch is attached to my name, which is super cool. Now I will say the rest of the goals from here on out I have not achieved. Some of them because I cannot achieve them until later in the year, but some of them I just like haven't done yet. My next goal is that I wanted to complete draft 2 of Project Pyro. This was my YA thriller that I wrote last summer, and I wanted to complete draft 2 of this. I have not started the second draft of this. I have decided that until The Odd Book, which is my second middle grade coming out next year with Scholastic, until I finish this, or at least it's in copy edits, I feel like I'm on too short of a deadline to be working on 2 books in this very, you know, in this time crunch. So I've just kind of decided I'll work on Project Pyro after September 1st, when Tobe is in 2 copy edits. So that is something maybe that I'll be able to check off by like the end of this year. Who knows? My next goal, start a new book. Still unsure about this one. So I wanted to actually do NaNoWriMo this year. I have never done a true NaNoWriMo where I wasn't a rebel, where I didn't cheat. I want to write a book. I want to write 50,000 words in the month of November. That would be so cool. Like, I've never done that. And there's a part of me that wants to do that and draft a new book. I have a couple books on the burners and I'm deciding which ones that I want to do. I'm leaning towards doing my middle grade option for Scholastic. I've talked a little bit about it in the past. I actually have a video where I talk about all of my projects that are in my brain. So The Odd Book is Tobe, T-O-B, and this was the secret organization book, so Sob, and I thought that was funny. So Sob might be the one that I work on, if I'm gonna work on it. But it's like, if I'm gonna write a whole book in November, how in the world am I gonna do the goal before that, which is complete draft 2 of Project Pyro? And I feel like the smartest thing to do would be to work on Project Pyro so that I can like potentially like get it on sub soon-ish. It's almost like I'm gonna complete one of these goals and not the other. I just have to decide which one. And next, plan a mini book tour. I still think I'm gonna do this. It's just something that I'm gonna be doing in the next couple months, I guess. And I'm realizing this is also something that I am not fully in control of, because I will have a publicist assigned to me and they will be doing this, or we'll be doing it together in some way, I assume. So I have not gotten started on this one. But I also just came to the realization about something. I thought that I was gonna do a big book tour where I went to, you know, a bunch of local elementary and middle schools and gave talks and did workshops and, you know, just did a full tour that way. But I realized when I stopped and I thought about it, I was like, I don't I don't want to do that. I think it was Michelle Schusterman who said, you know, with your debut year, like you want to do everything and everyone tells you you have to do everything, but in reality you can't do everything. So you need to pick the things that you're really, really passionate about and then go full force into those instead of trying to do everything and then failing at it all. So yeah, I was like, that's gonna make me so anxious. And I was like, that will not bring me joy. So I'm thinking with my mini book tour, I would like to do some signings. I don't mind going to a couple schools, but I don't want to do like a full 2-week multiple school a day thing. Also, that really stresses me out with the migraine situation. This goal I think is gonna have to be reevaluated because of that, because I gotta figure out what I want to do. I'm open to a couple school visits, like smaller scale, like classrooms. I think I would be more comfortable with. I really don't want to stand up in front of like 5,000 children. Like that freaks me out. I'm open to doing like virtual tours with like bookstores, meet and greets with people, like that all sounds good. In person or virtual for the meet and greets, I'm fine with that. I think that the mini book tour I'm gonna plan might look a bit different than what I originally thought it would. Okay, my second to last writing goal is that I want to have a launch party. Still planning on doing this. I think it's gonna be in person. If you guys are, any of you are in Ohio or in the surrounding Ohio area, when I have more information, I would love to give it to you because we can all like hang out. But I do plan on doing an in-person launch at a local indie bookstore, and I'm very excited about it. My final writing goal is that I want to print and bind When the Sea Came for Us. Do you guys remember her? It was so long ago. When the Sea Came for Us was the first book that I wrote when I started this channel. It was a dark YA fantasy. I still love it. It's the book of my heart. I haven't read it in a while, but you know, since it's so important to me, I want to get it print and bound to look like a real book. And yeah, that's a goal for this year. Sometime I'm gonna do that. I have a website that I'm gonna be using, and I just need to learn how to format it, and then I'm gonna bind it. And I think it'll be so nice to just be able to hold her and be like, this was the first book I wrote. She failed very badly in the query trenches, but I still love her. Gosh darn it. All right, and then let's move on to reading. So with reading, I only gave myself 3 goals. And the first one was to complete the Buzzword-A-Thon challenge. You're not familiar with this. This is a readathon, a year-long readathon that the Booktuber Books and Lala hosts. It's a very loose, chill, relaxed readathon where every single month in the year has a buzzword. And you just have to read one book in that month that has that word in it. I have done this so far, and in every single month I have been able to read at least one book that fits the prompt. So that makes me happy. My next reading goal was that I wanted to read all books, or delete the books, on my Goodreads TBR that I added in 2019. I've talked a little bit before how I don't like my TBR to get overwhelming and very, very large. So if I haven't read a book in 3 years time from the time I put it on my Goodreads saying, hey, I want to read this, then I either like have to read it in that calendar year or I delete it. So this year is all of the 2019 Goodreads books, and I'm doing pretty well on these so far. In fact, I only have 2 more to read out of, gosh, I wonder if I wrote down how many I started out with. 18. That's how many there were. So I only have 2 left out of 18. So I'm doing really good on this goal. And then my final reading goal was that I wanted to read at least 60 books, and I have already done that. I'm actually at 65 as we speak, so very happy. And then my last section is my life section, and I have 4 goals for this category. The first one being that I want to complete 2 workout programs, and I have actually already accomplished this, and I'm working on my 3rd one. I love doing workouts at home. I hate going to the gym. So if I'm gonna work out, I'm gonna do it in the comfort of my own home. And all of the workouts I do are on Beachbody. It's like an online app. You can pay, it's like a subscription service for workout programs basically, and you choose which ones you wanna do. And yeah, I like doing them. I do them with my good friend Lainey over at Lainey Cress, and we keep each other accountable and we do our workout programs together, and it's really nice. I feel really great when I'm moving my body, and if you've been watching my monthly wrap-ups, you know that I've been been finally seeing the benefits of moving my body so much with my disability. So it's been really nice to see some results and get some relief. The next goal is that I wanted to unhaul and donate a bunch of clutter, and I did that within the first week of the year, and it felt so nice. I get so much pleasure in throwing things away or donating them. Most people, like, they just want to shop and they like get like a little like high off of shopping. Mine is just decluttering. I think at the beginning of the year, between me and my husband, we donated 7 bags, like 7 full trash bags full of old clothes that were still in really great shape, but that we just didn't wear anymore. We also live in like an 800 square foot apartment, so it's very small, and we have outgrown this place. Well, we outgrew it about like 6 years ago, but we're still here. So yeah, unhauling is something that I have to do like biannually, or else I just lose my mind. The third life goal was that I wanted to level up in my herbalism skill. Have not done this yet. I bought a ton of books at the beginning of the year that will help me achieve this goal. I'm really into it. I love making little remedies for myself and for others. It makes me feel good, makes me feel witchy. I want to expand in what I can make. Most of the time I make teas, or I make salves or balms. I want to start making some tinctures. I want to start like decocting things, like, you know, like let's get really fancy here. And I also want to get to the point where if someone was like, oh, I have this ailment, what can I do? I can be like, I know, here you go, and like recommend them a herb. I want to get like really knowledgeable and just force that knowledge out on other people. I love being a know-it-all. That is one of my deepest flaws as well. And my last life goal is that I want to be more green. Now I think this is something that I'm going to check off like closer to the end of the year, because even with the changes I make right now, like have made, I want to make sure they last throughout the year before I actually consider this done. But I have made some small changes. I could do more, and I know I could do more. I'm very frustrated with my apartment complex because I've asked multiple times to get some kind of recycling receptacle, even like a small one. I've even offered to pay for it, and they're just like, no, you don't have room for it. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't have room for it? We have massive dumpsters everywhere, and I'm just like wanting to buy a singular receptor. I am making small changes to try to be more green in the ways that are possible for me right now. Some of the small changes that I have made is that I have been, instead of pitching my fruits and veggies, I have been actually just tossing them out in the forest behind us for the animals to munch on, or for them to decompose and the plants to munch on. I've been working on some energy things, so making sure the lights are off in the rooms that we're not using, unplugging things that we're not using, because even when things are turned off, if they're plugged in the wall, they're using energy. I've been washing my laundry on like room temperature tap water instead of like heating it up. I started using or making natural cleaning remedies, like with vinegar and baking soda and things like that. And kind of accidentally, I've also been like eating more veggies, which is, you know, better for the environment than eating meats and stuff like that. I mean, I'm still eating meat, but you know, the less meat you eat, the better it is for the environment overall. So yeah, like just small changes, nothing big. Again, I can do more, but I'm glad that I'm making the little changes I am. I really feel like I'm not gonna save the world no matter what I do. We need like big corporations to get involved with being green to actually make a difference. But you know, the little amount that I can do makes me feel happier. And this may be silly to some of you, but I am making strides not to kill bugs that come in my house. I know, silly to some of you, maybe not to others, but before I was always just like, you come in my house, you're dead. I'm really trying not to be that way anymore. I got a cup, I can put a little paper under it, and I carry whatever bug it is outside. That rule is very difficult to apply to spiders because I just spiders, but progress is being made. Okay, so those were all of my goals. I thought next I would kind of talk about oh, we haven't even talked about my dreams. Well, none of my dreams have been accomplished. Let's just talk about that right off the bat. My first one is that I want my migraines to be gone. That hasn't happened, probably will never happen, but I'm gonna put it on the list every single year. I always do. Maybe one year it'll actually come true. The next one is go on a writing trip. That is happening. I have one planned in November. I'm very excited about. If I haven't mentioned it already, I am gonna be going to Y'all Fest in, let's see, November 10th through the 12th, and that's in Charleston. So if you're gonna be there, let me know, we can meet up. But I will also be doing a writing retreat with some very close friends of mine, and I'm very excited for it. Next on my dreams list is that I want to get a starred review for The Glass Witch. That would just be really cool. A lot of this stuff is like too early for me to have gotten anyway, but yeah, it would be cool to get a starred review for The Glass Witch. Next dream is that I would like to make some fancy list with the Glass Witch. Then this doesn't have to be like the New York Times bestseller list, although like I'm not gonna complain if I get on there. But I'm talking about like being like shortlisted for like some kind of award, or even like a Goodreads list, like, you know, whatever. That would be really cool. The next dream is that like it'd be really cool to get an Owlcrate box. I've always wanted that. I made a video a couple years ago about like dreams that I have like for my author career. Yeah, the biggest one is getting in an Owlcrate box because I just think that'd be really cool. Like, I love Owlcrate. My next dream is that I would like to speak at a conference. We'll see if that happens. The only conference I'm attending this year is Y'all Fest. My next dream is that I'd like to get a fancy blurb for the Glass Witch. We will see. Again, none of this is in motion yet. And my final dream was that I wanted to be on sub with Project Pyro. This is a very tall order since I only have the first draft done, and we're not even gonna get back to working on her until probably mid-September. So I doubt she's gonna be submission ready, but those were my dreams. Anyway, now really quickly, I did want to talk about some of my favorite books that I've read this year, since it's, you know, midway through the year. These are not gonna be in any particular order because I don't know the order yet, but the first one I'm going to talk about, I talked about in my wrap up, and that is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. This is an adult romance featuring an agent and an editor who don't really see eye to eye on a lot of things, but they fall in love. It plays with the trope of the woman who is always left when the boyfriend finds his true love. She's the one that's always dumped for the girl that he meets and falls in love with. And it was such a good time. Emily Henry is so witty, and she is so great at banter, and she's utterly brilliant, and I'm in awe of her. Next, I have Emma and the Night. This was a really fun thriller that I just found compulsively readable, and it's got that thing that I love, that's just like a really messy, nasty, manipulative family. I love family drama, especially when every single person in the family is toxic. So this was just like right up my alley, super fun, and it really scratched like that gritty itch that I get every now and then. This one also scratched an itch, and that is Someone We Know by Sherry Lapina. This was so fun. It was just a bunch of rich people living on a street. They all have secrets, they all have scandals, and then someone is missing and someone is dead, and it's just like told from all of their perspectives, and it's about all of their secrets coming. It just is wonderful. If you are a nosy Nancy like me, you will probably love this book. I feel like all that I want from thrillers is like juicy salaciousness and shockingness. And this hit the mark on both. Next, we have The Key to the Extraordinary, and this might be my favorite so far this year. I know that I said these weren't in order, but this was just so beautiful. It made me sob. It made me stop because I was sitting there and I was reading it, and it gave me emotions, and then I was just like, oh wow, this is why I read, to have these emotions, and in turn this is why I write. And then realizing that like made me cry even harder. It's just so beautiful. You guys know how I feel about Natalie Lloyd. I'm like her #1 fangirl. It's just about a little girl who comes from a long line of women with extraordinary powers, and she is about to get her extraordinary power. And at the same time, she has to go on a treasure hunt to save her grandmother's, I believe it's an ice cream shop. It's a warm hug. It's brilliant. I love that she always has casual yet deep disability representation in all of her works. And her prose are just like a punch to the heart. They're so beautiful. And my last favorite of the year is Winter House. This is such a fun book. It's like a puzzle. The whole book is a puzzle, and it's based on puzzles. I just really love it. It's about this little girl who's been invited to this very mysterious hotel that has puzzles and trick rooms, and just there's like a mystery, and she has to solve it. And it is the perfect cozy winter vibes. I read this in January when it was snowing outside, and like there was nothing better than this. There's skiing, there's hot chocolate, there's warm cozy nights by the fire. Like, it's just very atmospheric in that way. And again, it has puzzles and mysteries to solve within the story itself. And it was just such a wonderful time. Whew. So that was it. My throat is hurting from talking so much. I'm not used to filming anymore. In the comments down below, let me know your favorite book that you read so far this year, or your goal that you still need to achieve by the end of the year. Anyways, I'm gonna go make some tea for my throat. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't, and pre-order the Glass Witch if you haven't. The links are down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.